Hello, my Zentangle friends. This is Barbara Langston, CZT, Certified Zentangle Teacher. And sorry, it's been a while since I did anything. Sometimes it's hard for me to come up with what I think is unique. There are so many videos and free tutorials on YouTube and Instagram and such. And so I've been in a rut, but I found a tile that I did about a year ago, April of 2020, and I want to show that to you today. I think you'll enjoy it. It is a monotangle, which means it only has one pattern on it. And this may look difficult, but it's not. It is the pattern Tripoli, and then I just added well in the center and gave it some drama, and it, I think, came up pretty amazing. So don't think it's going to be difficult, because it's not. I know some of us struggle with Tripoli. In fact, I struggled with it in the beginning, but then I watched videos by Melinda Barlow and by Maria on how to do it, and it's really not all that difficult. So let's get started. We're going to work on either a 3.5 or 4-inch tile. I happen to have a 4-inch tile. Sorry, let me get this zoomed in a little bit better. And another thing that I want to encourage you to use today is a scrap piece of paper. And as we get to the edge, I'll show you how handy this is going to be. But for now, we can put it to the side. But let me show you here on this paper just some of the basics for Tripoli. Tripoli is really just a triangle. And you can make it very straight in the sides and corners like this. And once you have your initial triangle, then you put another line to aura or echo that first one. And then we're going to make a triangle that comes out this way. Okay, so whichever way you put your line, you can put it on any one of these sides. Again, we're going to make it straight. And then from that line, I want to make my triangle come out in this direction. So let's go this way. And then again here, make my triangle come down. And then I'm going to turn this. I'm going to make another line across here and make my triangle come down to this point. And then I'm just going to fit my last triangle in here. And that's kind of a Tripoli type flower, if you will, but you could just keep going in any direction that you like. And if you'll notice, we end up with kind of straight lines across here. Now you can do rounded corners, and that's what we're going to do today. Is I'm going to round the corners like that. But if you watch Maria, she goes in all kinds of directions. And I'm doing this purposely so that you can see you don't have to have perfect shapes. Come in here. Okay, so you're just going to take one edge and keep going from there to make your next triangle. All right, so let's get started on our tile. And I'm going to start kind of in the middle. And like I said, this is a monotangle, except that I'm putting well inside. So I guess you could say it is actually two patterns, but start anywhere. And let's just make our first triangle. And again, I like to round my corners. Excuse me. And then I'm going to come to this side. And just like this one points that way, I'm going to go just the opposite and make my rounded corners. I don't care if they are exactly the same or not, it doesn't matter. But we're just going to keep making triangles all over our tile. Okay. Once I get my first ones down, it helps me to recognize that when I bring this one around, it kind of lines up in that direction. And then this last one is just going to fit in between these two. Okay, and we're just going to keep building off of this. I think doing Tripoli is a very meditative type pattern for me. I'm going to come off this way just to show you that you end up with kind of a line of up, down triangles. And I'm trying to get them about the same size all around. So I'm going to do that same thing here. Again, make your line. My triangle is going to go out this way and then come back across. And it doesn't matter where you're at, anywhere in this. Now it looks kind of like a cool ribbon. I'm just going to go anywhere and start my next triangles. And I'll try to go a little faster so that you can see what I'm doing, but not have to take too much time. It's an easy pattern, but this whole tile ends up with a lot of detail. And at the end, it's really cool how it comes together when you start adding the shading and the drama. And again, if you see the way I came up, it's almost a line across here. But it doesn't have to be any kind of perfect lines. I relax a whole lot more if I don't worry about things looking perfect. So I'm happy to say that on Monday, I'll be getting my second COVID shot. I'm hoping that I won't have any bad side effects from it. But I have heard that the second one is the one that is more likely to make you feel a little sick. But I'm happy to get it. I am a senior and I want to feel safe going out a little more often. Okay, this one came out kind of weird. I'll just make it a little bit bigger. It'll still be fine. Okay. Now, I'm going to have this go all the way to the edge, like we did on this one. And so now I'm going to slip my paper, my scrap paper under here. And I learned this from Kelly Barone. And she's also a CZT. And I thought it was such a great idea. And come up. And I'm just going to keep drawing as if I'm drawing that same triangle. And it helps me to make it fit more naturally if I'm not having to guess where it would go. Okay. Do the same thing here. All right, and then just move it away. Let's do the same here. This one's going to fit on here. And then if I had another one here, it would go up like this, come down, and then come across. So there. I just like how it makes my patterns fit a little bit better when I use the scrap paper and go ahead and just draw off my tile and then come back across. Oops. No mistakes. Okay. Let's do this one. Now you don't have to go off the page with yours if you don't want to, but I just like how it looks on this tile. So let's start here. Okay. You know, you could go ahead and do the whole thing, but you can also kind of just guess. Of course, this would just have a little bit of a triangle coming up here. The tip of the triangle. And I did that one a little bit wonky, but that's okay. Let's put the top of our triangle there. This one would come this way and go up and across this way. And then we would have the top of one here. All right, this is our last side. Let's see. I'm going to put a triangle here. And do these sides. I think these we can guess pretty good how they would go. And we would have one coming this way. And let's see. So this one would come up and go out because it would be coming like that. And then one more. Okay. I think we've got it. So there's your basic pattern. I'm going to take the scrap paper off for now, except I want to show you well. Bring this back the way I showed you. And the actual pattern well is done in a grid. And you put a little dot in the center and a circle. And then we're going to curve from the corner and kind of make a 6. And as Rick says quite often, we're going to take off and land. So, sorry, taking off from that corner and land. Take off from this corner and land. We're going to do the same thing inside of these triangles. Okay, so I'm going to leave just a little dot of white in the middle of mine. And then I'm going to take off from a corner and make a 6. If you feel better, you could start from the center and pretend you're making a 9. Let's round this off a little bit better. But we just want to make sure that our little swirls are all going in the same direction. Okay, so taking off from the center, it looks like you're making a 9. If you're taking off from the corner, it looks like you're making a 6. Okay, I'll do it one more time here. We're going to do it plenty of times on the tile, but I just want to show you. Again, we're coming in this direction. It's kind of hard to turn this big sheet of paper. Okay, so like that. We're going to do that all over our tile. Now you can do this in whatever way is most comfortable for you. You could put the center circle in each one. And you could also fill each one of these in solid black and then come back later with a white gel pen and put your dot. Or you could leave it black, or you could leave it an open circle. Always remember this is your art. And think, what if I did it this way? What if I did it a little bit differently? Which is how I came up with that tile. And like I said, that was a year ago in April of 2020. up until March 10th of 2020, I had just started teaching Zentangle at a local community college, was teaching a group of senior ladies, and I was loving it. It was my first time to teach regularly, and I had done 6 lessons when COVID hit. And then I taught just by sending them emails, kind of like newsletters. Okay, let me stop for a second. Let's do some of our 6s. So let me show you, if you're more comfortable without having to turn your tile a lot, I'm going to do all of these that are pointing that way. And then I'm going to turn. Try to keep my hand out of the way, sorry. And do a 6 here. 6 there. Because I don't want you to have to watch me twist and turn my tile constantly. So again, the goal is to put this center dot and these lines from each corner into each one of these triangles. And here, if you needed to, you could just kind of guess. This corner would come up like this, so I would be coming around like that. Okay. And this might be a good place for you to fast forward if you already know what you're doing, or do this along with me. This is very repetitive, but I don't like to fast forward my videos for you. I like to give you that option, that you can watch everything I'm doing in real time. And then in your settings for YouTube, you can switch it so that it's going faster or slower. Okay, this one's going to come off the page to a pretend corner right there. Same with this one, and this one would be going down here. Okay, same thing here. And over here, I would have a triangle coming out like this. I would have my center, so I would have a line coming here and a line coming there. You won't see the others. All right. Trying to not make you dizzy. Okay, so I was saying that I taught my students through newsletters, type, PDF files and such, because I had already made lesson plans for 12 weeks of classes, and I only taught 6. So I taught the rest of those classes just by sending them ideas of things to do and teaching them as well as I could, because I had never done YouTube or Zoom. And eventually I started using a document camera and doing Zoom classes. And that was a big leap for me because I had never done anything like that. Now, I had used a document camera at the college, but as far as teaching a class fully online, that was new to me. And I did that to finish off my lessons. And then I would send them the Zoom links, but there was a limited amount of space that Zoom allows you for storing your videos. And I wanted my students to be able to access their videos after the class if they wanted to. And so I thought, well, why not try YouTube? And that's what got me started. Okay, I'm trying to not make this take too long. And I'm just kind of twist and turn this tile a little bit to get to these corners to keep it a little bit more comfortable in my hand. Remember to relax your shoulders, breathe. Like I said, I find these monotangles to be relaxing, meditative. That's when I get into my Zen spot. Okay, let me get this out of the way again. Oops, no mistakes. That's not going to show up because we're going to add some drama at that end anyway. I really like putting well into triangles. And there's other things that you can do with this. We're going to keep this one pretty simple. But you can add R lines across here. It's really pretty. Okay, did I miss any across here? Yeah, a little bit here. Okay. So it is almost the beginning of spring. I'm ready for it. I bought a bunch of milkweed plants today. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if they are native milkweed, so I need to check into that. We get a lot of monarch butterflies. And I have really enjoyed watching the caterpillars and then the chrysalis and then watching them hatch. Pretty amazing. All right, we're almost there. All right, did we get them all? Just triangle. Oh, that one. Okay. Oh. All right. So I am actually going to switch to a PN. I have so many pins. Okay, so I'm not. So what we're going to do now is add this drama in the corner of each one of these. And I think, again, like I was doing before, I'm going to try to not have to keep turning my tile, but I'll show you in this first one. We're just going to use hatching, and I'm going to pull my pen toward me and start in that corner, and then just bring some lines in. And just try to make it about the same distance as far as how far you're going in on each corner. And once you get this down and understand what I'm doing, you can feel free to fast forward through this. I'm going to try to do it kind of quickly, but not too messy. I'm try to keep my tile in one direction for a while and stop spinning it. Okay, I meant to put on some music and I forgot. Okay, this corner was kind of funny, so I can kind of even that out now. Won't show up as much. And I know I've mentioned this, but I really enjoy listening to audiobooks. And this kind of pattern, once you get it down, it's easy to just know what to do next. And I can actually focus more on what I'm listening to because I'm not worried about the steps for the pattern that I'm working on. Okay. And again, feel free to fast forward. pause it, whatever works best for you. I'm just kind of jumping around. Try not to turn my tile too many times, but just spot a corner that needs the drama and add it. And this was one of those where, like I said, I was doing a prompt for today's Tangles, Keeping It Classic Facebook group. And the prompt was to use a just one pattern. And I decided to try Tripoli. And you could consider this as just being a Tripoli type fragment. And so anyway, I did Tripoli and decided to put the well pattern inside of that. And then I said, well, what if I added a little bit of drama in each corner? And it just turns out I love how it came about. And I had not seen it done like this before, so I feel okay sharing this with you. There's been a lot of talk on the CZT Facebook group about copyrights and copying what other people do, and I think that's kind of what has slowed me down in the last few days about what to do as far as a video, because I don't want to copy what someone else has done. You can go to any of the other YouTube channels and watch their video. I'm not going to repeat what someone else has taken the time to do. But it's also hard to know whether or not what you're doing has already been done, if you know what I mean. Anyway. I'm not perfect at what I do. I'm not real confident at what I do, but I enjoy it. And I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so this is going to take a while. Okay, so I think after I do this line of triangles, I am going to pause the video because this is so much repetition across this tile. And I will turn it back on as soon as I have the hatching finished in each of these corners. Okay. So I have just about half of it done. And I will be back. All right, so I'm back. And here's the finished first part of the tile. And the next thing we're going to do is add the shading. And I think that's what really set this one off when I did it, was putting the shading around each of these corners. Now you could only shade inside here if you wanted to. So for example, I could put shading just on the inside of Tripoli in the corners. Okay, and then take my tortillon and shade it, smooth it out. Okay, or you could have it pulled all the way into the center. The other thing that you could do is color. So when I was practicing in my sketchbook last night, I tried putting color with pastel pencils. So just an idea. So with your graphite pencil, let's start adding some shading. And on this one, I'm just going to put it in the corner of each of these, just to see how it does. Just a what if. Since we know how this one looks already, let's see how it looks. And you do it the way that you would like yours to look. And you may, if you want, try doing it with the graphite in the center. And then if you don't like it, erase it. It is okay to erase. This is your art. Make it to what you want it to be. Okay, so I'm going to try to do this kind of quickly, but not too sloppy. And I have my graphite pencil almost flat down. So I am adding those bits of graphite with the side of my pencil because I don't want to put harsh lines down there. And I'm kind of going in a circle in each one of these corners. I'm not super talkative today. I'm just kind of focused on what I'm doing. That's why I say this is the kind of pattern I like, where I don't have to think, just do it. A lot of shading to do here, but it does make a difference. Shading is the icing on the cake, especially for this pattern. Begins to get hard to find where I did and didn't put it. Okay, so I've gone across here, down to this row. And when I shaded it with the pastel pencils, I did the exact same thing. I just put a little bit of pastel in each corner. You could use watercolor. You could use colored pencils. Put a variety of color on here if you wanted. A little bit of shading in this corner. Okay. Oh. All right. I'm going to start up here and just with my graphite, with my tortillon, I'm just going to soften each one of those corners. Again, you're doing a lot of repetitive movements here. Remember to relax, shake out your arms and shoulders, release any tension. We're not pulling it too far in because we want to leave these centers white. And it may get to the point where you can't tell whether you've softened it or not, and that's okay. It's still going to look good. Take deep breaths. Relax your shoulders. Relax your arms, your hands, your fingers. And if you have a corner of this where you missed putting the graphite, there's going to be enough graphite on your tortillon that you won't have to worry about picking up your pencil again. Well, I think I was totally off the screen, but you know what I was doing. It gets hard to find a place to put my fingers where I'm not getting too much graphite smeared. All right, I like that one too. So again, I think these patterns I drew a little bit bigger than what I did here. Let me back it out. There you go. Try to find an open spot where you can put your chop. And again, you may decide that you want to put shading in the center also. Oops, I just saw where I didn't smooth this. you know, look at it from a distance. Hold it out at arm's length and tell yourself, I did a good job today. I love my art. I love it when something comes together, when it works out. I think I'm going to put my chop right here. And again, this was Tripoli with Well. And I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed showing it to you. And I hope you have a very good weekend. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. And thanks for watching.